Alright, let's get this training video number 2 going here. This is Kemper. This video will be focused on inducements and building a team. We can see someone here asking for the link to the stream. And you can see it coming in right here. Alright. So we will actually begin tonight with building a team. If there's anyone in channel, I'd love it if you could say hello so I know who's there. Anyway, as I was saying, we will get this started with a quick introduction on creating a team. What is involved in that, how you do it, what are the pros and cons of it. And then I'm going to start talking a little bit about inducements. To show you creating a team, then I'm going to begin a single player campaign, but the process is in fact exactly similar to what happens in a multiplayer match. So since we're doing classic for the Wobble League, hello Pred, I'm actually just going to, we'll call this test. I'll just do a classic right now. You'll see there's a lot of teams over here on the side. Amazon is a relatively skill-based team. The players tend to start with lots of skills but have low armor values, so they can take casualties decently quickly. Chaos is considered the bashiest of all teams. They are primarily manned by Chaos Warriors and Beastmen, designed to inflict injuries. They struggle to hold on to the ball. Chaos Dwarves are a little interesting. They have sort of a bashy front line, and then they move forward from there. I am going to close friends real fast. There we go. Dark Elves, a very fast team, agile, good at ball handling, good at causing injuries, very, very good, unfortunately, at taking injuries. Dwarves, slow, steady, reliable. They don't take a lot of injuries. They struggle to score a lot of points, but they prevent a lot of points as well. Elves, your classic agility team. They move the ball well. They tend to get beat up a lot. Goblins are a strange team to play. They are very good at taking injuries. They're very bad at handling the ball. They're very slow. But they're also very good at doing very stupid things that are hilarious and frightening all at the same time. Halflings are in fact good at nothing. They are slow, they are not very agile, and they take lots of injuries. The only reason you would play a halfling team is if you are planning on being ridiculous and getting hurt a lot, and or you want to really challenge yourself. High Elves, the epitome of a passing team. They are quick, they are very accurate with their passing, they're good at catching the ball. Like any elven team, they take a lot of damage, they take a lot of casualties. Humans. Well, they're humans. Some skills, pretty much middle of the road across the board. Khemri, an undead team. Very bashy, relatively slow, but very sturdy, able to handle a lot of damage incoming. Yes, I got the mention that goblins are in fact good at being thrown. That's, again, the goblins do strange things. Corn Daemons. The demons are incredibly good at causing injuries. They're very poor at anything else other than getting into fights. Um, they also have some very interesting mutation skills that they can pick up that allows for an advanced player to do some interesting things. Lizardmen. Lizardmen are actually the first of these split teams that I call them. They have two character types, Skinks and Sauruses. The Saurus is actually strength 4, very good at bashing, very good at holding the line, difficult for the opponent to take down. The Skink is strength 2, very agile, decent at handling the ball, very fast. Um, they have a nice balance to them, a good yin and yang element. The problem is if you get the wrong player in the wrong spot, they're very bad at covering for each other. Yes, Pred, the Corn Demons. That is how they are pronounced. Necromantic. These are mostly undead players. The core is made up of zombies, but they are actually one of the few teams that have at least 4 player types where you can have multiple different types of players. Zombies, werewolves, wights, ghouls, and flesh golems. Similar to a degree to the Lizardmen in that if you've got the wrong guy in the wrong spot, they don't cover for each other super well. But the Necromantic are very agile. If you want to be a bashy team or a point-scoring team, they can cause some injuries. They tend to take a lot of injuries. Most of their players have regenerate, so they're designed to go down and bounce back up next kickoff. The Norse, a team of block. They are very good at, for their low strength value, they're very good at holding their own line. Their moderate strength value allows them to be similar to the Amazons, decently mobile. They're not as agile or as skilled as the Amazons, but they take a lot fewer casualties. Nurgle. Nurgle teams are very good at getting the enemy to go away from them and creating space. They're also very good at knocking enemy players down. They're very bad at handling the ball, though, and should an enemy succeed in getting through to them, they often go down in a heap. Oops. Ogres. Ogres are probably the strongest team on average across the line. However, ogres are not what you would call smart, and you have to have very, very weak characters called snotlings hanging around your ogres to keep them reminded that they're in a Blood Bowl match. Otherwise, they act really stupid and don't do anything for the turn. Orcs, a classic bashy team. They are not the best of ball handlers, but they actually have they have a surprisingly good array of skills, especially off the bat. The Orc Blitzer and the Black Orc combined can create a fairly fearsome moving wall, but they're not really what I would call fast. I'm being reminded to not just talk about throwing teammates, i.e. the goblins, but goblins that are thrown are occasionally eaten. We'll get into that into a later video. Moving on to the Skaven. The Skaven have a very, very low armor value, but they are very, very fast. One of the fastest players in the game is the Skaven Gutter Runner. One of the teams that are very capable of creating one-turn touchdowns. Beyond that, they take a lot of damage if they get hit. They don't survive well. They're very squishy. But if you can avoid getting hit, and they're decent at that, then you can score a lot of points. The Undead. The Undead are sort of a combined team, a little bit of everything, a little bit of bashy, a little bit of regeneration, a little bit of hold the line. They tend to be one of the slower teams across the board, but they're very difficult to stop, just in general. Underworld is a relatively new team to Blood Bowl. They are a mix. They are split between Skaven and Goblin players. This means they are fast and small, hard to hit, but when you do hit them, they tend to go squish. The Skaven team is the Underworld team is actually have the skill, quote unquote, of I think it's called antipathy, antagonism, something along those lines. They don't actually get along, and so handing the ball from one player to the next sometimes doesn't go as well as you might think. Vampires. Vampires are a two-character team. They have ghouls and they have vampires, and the ghouls are pretty slow, pretty standard backup characters that just kind of fill out the ranks. The vampire characters are fast, strong, and agile. Of course, vampires being vampires, sometimes they need to go out for a bite, and which means they have to go injure one of their ghoul teammates. This can throw a wrench in your plans, and sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes you just kill your team with your own vampires. I believe they've actually deleted the ability to kill the team, but they can cause serious injury. And finally, the Wood Elves, the eldest of the elves. Very dancy, very good running game. Their war dancers are able to get into enemy cages and break up enemy attacks decently well. Having said that, when a Wood Elf gets hit, there's a very good chance that they will not be getting up again. Alright, so with all of these various teams, I'm going to go through creating a team. And I'm actually going to show off creating an orc team because they have a decent amount of variety to the type of players you can get and what the costs will be for doing that. So first things to do is create a team name. I'm just going to call mine something boring. Training orcs. Color. My orcs wear pink with teeth on their head. That sounds like fun. You can also put a team motto and a team history in. I'm going to skip that for right now. We will begin a campaign just because I need to do it. So here's where we actually get into the creating of a team. So you'll note before I do anything else that you have a treasury of 1 million gold down at the bottom there. 1 million gold allows you to buy a team, basically, and staff it with players. You also have to buy rerolls and apothecary if you want that. But the first thing to do is to buy some players. And you'll note that the orcs themselves actually have a variety of players to get. And we'll go through some of the stats right now. MA is movement, that's how many squares they can move. Strength is strength. Agility is how well they can get out of tackles and how good they are at ball handling. And AV stands for armor value. Armor value is how likely they are to get hurt when they get knocked down. Level is something they will gain, and SPP is star player points. These are your experience points. No, Mark, I am going to buy players. Sorry. Salary is what it costs to sign the player. This is not a recurring cost. This is a one-time upfront cost. And you'll see that the basic lineman is movement 5, a little on the slow side of average, strength 3, average, agility 3, average, armor 9 is actually decent. They have no skills, so they're just an orc. An orc blitzer, on the other hand, for an extra 30,000 gold, gets an extra movement point and has the skill block from the beginning. That's very useful to have. But you also see that 0 of 4, you can only have a maximum of 4 blitzers on a team at any given time. It's just the way it's designed for balance sake. Black Orcs also running in at 80,000. Movement 4, even slower, but strength 4. Agility 2. Black Orcs are really designed to get on the front lines and, well, hold the line, as it were. And you have your standard Goblin. A Goblin is strength 2, movement 6, armor 7. It is squishy, it is small, it's designed to get hurt. On the other hand, they're pretty cheap. They also come with a variety of skills. Right Stuff allows them to be thrown by a troll. Oh look, trolls, we'll get to them in a minute. That is a way to move the ball down the field in a real hurry. Dodge makes it easier for the character to duck away, and also keeps them on their feet if they get hit sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. And then Stunty is, as the description states, they're small. They can't throw the ball, but they get easily injured. They get to ignore tackle zones when they dodge, but they get a -1 on pass, and when they get knocked down, they actually get hurt faster and more often. Moving on to the thrower is an orc, 5338, so a little less on the armor value. It's 10,000 gold cheaper than a blitzer or a black orc, but they have two very useful skills: pass, which allows them to re-roll if they fail a pass roll, and sure hands, which actually allows them to get a free re-roll to pick up the ball. This is a great way to handle the ball. Obviously, the orc throwers are designed to handle the ball more than anybody else. And then there's the troll. Strength 5, you'll notice, and agility 1. A troll is really, they get into the middle, they get bashy, they hold the line, and occasionally they pick up a goblin and throw them. They are a loner, however, which means that if you try to use a reroll with them, there's a 50% chance it won't work. They're also really stupid. So that you have to roll a d6, and it's a 1 to 3 is a failure. But if someone's standing next to the troll, you get to add 2, so it's only on anything other than a 1. So this means you have to keep somebody near the troll to remind them what they're doing. If they fail the roll, they just kind of stand there and don't do anything. Not just on your turn, but on your opponent's turn as well. Regeneration means that they get a chance to ignore injury rolls and heal them immediately and come back to the bench to play. Throw teammate means they can pick up any teammate with the right stuff and throw them down the field. But they also have always hungry. When they try to throw a teammate, you have to roll a d6. And if you roll a 1, that's a 6-sided die for those who don't know. If you roll a 1, the troll eats the teammate. That's a problem, because then the teammate is gone and the ball is loose. The troll also comes with Mighty Blow to start with. Basically, add 1 to armor and injury rolls. Better chance to hurt someone. So, for me, I like to keep an orc team decently well organized. So, I like to have at least 1 thrower, somebody to hold on to the ball. I personally like blitzers, so at least 2 of those. At least 2 of the black orcs, because they help maintain my line. Now, you need at least 11 players to start to begin a team. You don't necessarily have to have that many to start a match, but you have to have that many to start a team. You have to have at least 11 on the roster. So that's 5. Now I've used almost 40% of my available budget, which is pretty expensive for just less than half my team. So let's get a few linemen in there, because that will actually help just flesh out the team and make sure I can actually get everyone onto the field. So 4 linemen, 2 blitzers, 2 black orcs, and a thrower takes me to 9. At this point, we start talking about what's my strategy going to be. Do I want a troll in the middle of the line trying to hold things down? Do I want a troll and a goblin? How many rerolls do I want? So, because I want a troll on the team, I like that having that strength 5 player. I'm going to buy that player. So now I'm down to 300,000. So I'll back out of here and I'll start looking at rerolls. Now, rerolls are the only thing that will change price during a league of a long-term season of Blood Bowl. When you first create the team, their price is half of what they cost during the season. So if I buy a reroll now, it costs me 60,000 gold. If I buy a reroll later in the season, it will cost me 120,000 gold per reroll, which is a little on the steep side. Now, since I'm orcs, I'm going to need at least 2, maybe even 3 rerolls to start, because I'm going to struggle to hold on to the ball and to pick up the ball. And having said that, let's see what 3 looks like. So if we accept that, we're down to 120,000 gold. If we look at the team roster, I've got 10 players right now. Troll, 4 linemen, 2 black orcs, 2 blitzers, and a thrower. So I'm probably going to go for 1 more player of some sort. And me personally, when I play an orc team, I prefer to have blitzers with the block skill over black orcs. That's a personal preference. Your mileage may vary. Some people want a second thrower, somebody else to hold on to the ball. Personally, I prefer having another blitzer on the field. The advantage to going with another thrower is I could actually throw in another lineman, which would take me to 12 players. 12 players on the roster would be really nice because then if somebody gets injured early on, then I have a substitute for them. But we're going to gamble a little bit. We'll go with another blitzer. 11 players. All right, I've got my team. I have 3 rerolls. I have 40,000 left in the treasury. Now, something else that you can do when you're creating your team, but you can't do during the season, is you can actually buy fan factor. This represents how popular your team is, how many supporters. It helps on certain kickoff roles, and it also can help change your winnings. At 10,000 apiece, it's pretty cheap. You could also buy an apothecary. An apothecary can heal an injury. I'm actually skipping an apothecary to start the season because I don't think it's worth it when none of my players have skills they've earned. I don't care if any of these players get hurt in game 1 because replacing them actually is the same as buying a new player. So there's nothing lost. Later on, you definitely want an apothecary for when your star player gets injured and you don't want them dead. Cheerleaders help on the cheering fans kickoff result. Assistant coaches help on a couple of brilliant coaching kickoff results. These are pretty specific scenarios. Most people don't spend money on these two when a team is newly formed. It's something you spend money on a little bit later in the season when your roster is a bit more fleshed out. You will certainly be able to flesh out your roster as you earn more gold during the season. You'll buy new players, you'll add rerolls, you'll add cheerleaders, assistant coaches, apothecaries, whatever you feel like buying. Since I can't pick up fan factor later other than through winning, I'm actually going to buy 4 points of fan factor to start, just because it provides a little bit more oomph, as it were. Just helps a little bit on some of those kickoff rolls. So now that I have this team, you'll see that my team value is 1,000. That roughly correlates to the 1 million that I've spent, but it fluctuates after game 1. But pretty much most starting teams will be right around a team value 1,000. It's pretty standard. So this is not how you would start a multiplayer match. I'll go over that in a later video. But I'm going to click Prepare Match because this will take me to a first game where I get money. So you'll see that my opponent's team value is 1,300 and my team value is 1,000. Because there's a 300 point difference, I get 300,000 gold to spend just for this match on what are called inducements. You can hire star players and mercenaries for this one match. That can be good if you've got a bunch of players that are going to miss a match. You might need a mercenary, or if you're really outmatched, you might buy a star player. The disadvantage to buying those players is any star player points, any experience they gain goes away when they leave at the end of the game. In fair play, you have 2 options in classic mode, which is what we'll be playing in our upcoming league. One is you can purchase a wizard. A wizard, once per game, can throw either a fireball or a lightning bolt onto the field and wipe a bunch of people out. This can be useful. It costs 150,000 gold. Again, it has its uses. If you want to spend your inducement money on that, wonderful. You can also buy wandering apothecaries. These are the same as regular apothecaries, but since you can only ever have these basically are free apothecaries, an extra apothecary for the game. So if you're an elf team and you've wound up against a chaos team, say, then you may want an extra apothecary if you only have one. These cost 100,000 gold each. Under foul play, we actually have what are called bribes. If you go injure somebody, and the ref spots it and goes to throw the player off, you can have up to 3 bribes available, which basically allows you to roll to see if the bribe works on the ref. You can see the ruling right here. If you roll anything other than a 1 on a 6-sided die, the ref ignores the foul, which can be great if you want to get nasty and start hurting people. Under extra training, we have extra team training. You can buy up to 4 I should go over a cost, shouldn't I? The cost of a bribe is 100,000 gold. You'll see that most of these are awful expensive. If you want to go for extra team training, each extra team training you buy, also at 100,000 gold, is a reroll. It's an extra reroll on top of whatever your standard reroll set is. This is for both halves of the game, first half and second half. Bloodweiser Babes actually help your players who get knocked unconscious wake up between kickoffs. You can see right there it only costs 50,000 for each one. Each one you buy adds a +1 modifier. And there's the Halfling Master Chef. Now this is the only place that God, Bread in Norway, stop being idiots. The Halflings get a significant discount on a Master Chef. A Halfling Master Chef for everyone costs 300,000 gold. For a Halfling team only costs 100,000 gold. What it does is you roll a die, or you roll 3d6. Everything that's a 4 or higher, you take one of your opponent's rerolls for the match. That's first half and second half. That can be really useful, and it can really backfire. We don't have potions because we're not in blitz mode. So let's go through the star players and mercenaries available to the orcs. Each team will have their own unique set of mercenaries and star players they can get. So you'll note that the mercenaries are in fact just the regular players that you could hire for the team. But again, since you've got this free money, you might want an extra player. Star players are in fact very different. So here's Ripper. Ripper is a troll who is strength 6, which is even higher than the regular troll. And he's not stupid, amazingly enough. He is very powerful, mighty blow, he's got regeneration, and he has grab, which means when he knocks people down, he can push them wherever he wants them to go. Varagulchur, who is a black orc, movement 6, so it's actually more mobile than the average black orc. He's got block, mighty blow, thick skull, which means he doesn't get knocked out very easily, and jump up, which means he can just pop up and have at. Scrappa Sorehead, who is a goblin on a pogo stick. A goblin on a pogo stick has the ability to do some crazy things like leap, like they are very able to move very fast. He's got movement 7. If you need him, you need him. Morgan Thorg, an ogre, classic star player from the Blood Bowl universe. Incredibly expensive. And you'll note that movement 6, strength 6, armor 10, agility 3, that's kind of why. And a variety of skills. And Bomber Dribblesnot, who is a bomber goblin. Bombardier can blow up things. They throw a bomb every now and again. They also get thrown out for having secret weapons. So I'm not actually going to hire any of these. I will go to extra training. I will buy a Halfling Master Chef just to see, because I like to prevent my opponent. Now, when you have extra gold on your own, you can elect to put it towards petty cash, which means if these two teams were equal, nobody would have any money for inducements. But since this is spare change that I'm getting because my team is ranked lower than my opponent, I don't feel bad spending it all. When I'm done, I click on Inducement Results. This lists all of what's happening on both sides of things. The Halfling Master Chef, I've hired a Halfling Master Chef. They don't have any money, so they can't do anything. I then click Start Match, and it will take a little while to load, but you'll see the roll affecting the number of rerolls. That's about what I had planned to cover, but we've got a whole bunch of people in channel. Are there any questions from the folks in channel? I'm not seeing any questions, just some enthusiasm from Pred. And so with that, now that it's finished loading, I'll skip the cinematics. Heads, kick, because I'm not going to actually play this match. I actually didn't get any of their rerolls. That is the problem with the Halfway Master Chef sometimes. Alright, with that, and I will sign out for the evening. And you boys enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you guys later.